A warm welcome to all of my family. You are now tuned into W.I.I.F.M. What's in it for me? The station that shows you how to be the best you that you can be simultaneously through being better to everyone else. Him, he is. That's right, I am Simeon Robinson, and I'll be your conductor on this crazy train as we learn life lessons through love.
Welcome in, family. Welcome in. We're going to get right into it today. The message for today is loving and leaving. The message for today is loving and leaving. This message today is for anyone who is a lover, and not just relationships. Anyone who loves what they do, anyone who loves who they are, anyone who loves who they want to become, anyone that loves their dreams, anyone that loves their purpose, anyone that loves love. In order to be a lover, you have to learn to be a leaver. In order to be a lover, you have to learn to be a leaver. It is okay to quit the things that are not serving you, and more importantly, and less talked about, the things that we are not serving. We all love to talk about, oh, I'm not getting the love that I deserve. I'm not getting the raise or the promotion that I feel that I have earned, except you rarely hear, I'm not working hard enough to get promoted. I'm not loving good enough to receive the love that I say I want. So in order to be a good lover, you have to learn to be a good leaver. And you have to learn to leave the things that are not serving you and the things that you are not serving. We love talking about when we want other people to grow. It's a lot harder to talk about, I have to grow in order to receive this or in order to accept this. So with that being said, I have a few notes for you. I have never had to learn to be a lover, or I have never had to try to be a lover, but I have always had to work to be a leaver. I've never had to try to be a lover, but I've always had to work to be a leaver. Now, what I mean is loving has come naturally to me. However, natural does not mean easy. Natural does not mean easy. Just because love may come natural does not mean that you still do not have a lot of work to do, a lot of learning to grasp, a lot of changing to be had. Giving is natural, but what are you giving? Giving is natural, but what are you giving? Because if you're giving someone something that they cannot receive and you think it's a gift, it's a burden to the other person. If you are giving someone something that they cannot receive and you think it's a gift, it is a burden to the other person. If you're going to give me a Lamborghini right now, hey, it's a nice car. Guess what? I have an incurable eye disease. I can't drive. Now I got to pay for car insurance. Now I got to pay to hold this car. It's a beautiful gift. It's an amazing thought. I can't drive, so I can't use it. If you are giving someone a gift that they cannot use or receive, it becomes a burden to that person. If you're giving someone words, if you're constantly complimenting your partner or yourself, but the love that you or they need is really action, they will not be able to see that love. They will not be able to see that love. If you're giving someone gifts, but what they really need is just reassurance, and they need to hear that you love them. They need to hear how beautiful or how important or how good they are to you and to themselves. Then the love and the type of love that you're giving them will not be received. So you're thinking you're giving them a gift and you're just giving them a burden. Because when you give them that gift, you're going to expect something in return, and you can't expect something from someone when they can't accept anything from you. So giving is natural, but what are you giving? And getting has to become just as essential as giving. Getting has to become just as essential as giving. And for quite a few of us, those of us who are empathetic, those of us who have never really been loved truly, those of us who have never really had a friend, who never really felt that we had family, that we were, biologically related to, that felt like family. It's imperative for us to give. It's imperative for me to help. It's imperative for me to love, because I know how it feels when no one loves you. I know how it feels when you have to do everything yourself and life is already hard enough. I know how it feels when just one helping hand can stop your hand from making an irrevocable mistake. I know how important it is for just one loving word to allow you to speak more loving words to yourself. We love giving, but it has to be just as essential to get. And if you do not open yourself or allow yourself to get the same love that you want to give, you will become the problem. If you do not allow yourself to get the same love that you give, you will become the problem. Because you will self-sabotage, you will deny, or you will not allow someone to give you what you are giving. You feel that everyone else deserves love. And because no one has loved you, it becomes hard for you to accept. Because no one else has loved you, it becomes hard for you to accept. So natural does not mean easy, but hard doesn't mean that it's wrong. Natural does not mean that it's easy, but hard does not mean that it's wrong. And oftentimes for people who are natural lovers, it becomes hard to become a natural leaver because it's hard. When you love hard, it becomes hard to leave. When you love hard, it becomes hard to leave. That is why it is important for you to develop your requirements, develop your non-negotiables, develop what is important to you and your boundaries to your mind, your heart, and your soul. You have to have all three of these, because if you do not, you will be hurting yourself. And as you hurt yourself, you will be hurting everyone else. You begin to have a tug of war with your heart and your mind. If you do not learn to leave when it is time, then you will develop a tug of war with your heart and your mind. So either you pull your way or you get pulled the other. Either you pull your way or you get pulled the other. Either you pull the right way or you get pulled to the left. And as you get pulled, you start to question yourself. Oh, well, maybe they love. I don't know. Well, maybe they'll get better. I don't know. And the indecisiveness, the indecision, the inability to accept what you know or what you believe to be true will only hurt you. The inability to accept what you know or believe to be true will only hurt you. You hear it with your ears and you see it with your eyes, but you can't accept it with your heart. You see it with your eyes and you hear it with your ears, but you can't accept it with your heart. The Bible says, above all else, guard your heart. Why? Because everything you do flows from it. That's Proverbs 4:23. And that has become one of my favorite scriptures because it describes my life to a T. I believe that everything you do needs to revolve or involve love, because the second that it doesn't, you start giving less, you start trying less, you start making more excuses. You start becoming more of what you need to become, and sometimes less of who you actually are. If you do not love something, you become what you need to be, and you become what you need to be, and you become what you need to be until you finally realize, I'm not who I need me to be. I became what I needed to be to get this thing or to have this thing or to keep this person or to get this material. And now I am not who I need to be in order to keep me. So above all else, guard your heart, because everything you do flows from it. So if you don't love yourself, everything you do will only be a reaction and only be a representation of you not getting love. If you don't love yourself, everything you do will only be a representation of you not getting love. And what's even crazier is, I don't know if you ever heard this song. It's always when you're trying to teach a child, your foot bone's connected to your ankle bone. Well, your heart bone is connected to your soul bone. Your heart is connected to your soul. That is why when you do anything, or you pray for anything, or you want anything, or you believe anything, it's one thing to think it in your head. It's one thing to believe it in your heart. And it's another thing to accept it in your soul. That's why even in the Bible, it says to love God with your heart, your mind, and your soul. All of it. The Bible also says, take care and keep your soul diligently, lest you forget that the things your eyes have seen, and lest they depart from your heart all the days of your life. It says, keep your soul diligently, lest you forget the things that your eyes have seen, and lest they depart from your heart all of your life. So you just heard your soul, your eyes, and your heart. Your soul, your eyes, and your heart. That's your soul, your mind, and your heart. Because if you don't think on the things that you see, if you don't feel it in your soul, in your heart, and if you don't accept it in your soul, how can it be real? How can you make it real when it is not real yet? So you have to guard your heart, but you also have to understand that your heart is connected to your soul. So if your heart isn't in it, then your soul won't be either. If your heart is not in it, then your soul won't be either. Heart represents desire, but your soul represents your passion. Your heart represents desire, but your soul represents passion. So if your heart isn't in it, why are you? If your heart is not in it, why are you? Your heart isn't just for feelings, it's for desire. What do you desire to become? What do you desire to have? What do you desire to be? We love feeling. I feel that I should have this. I feel that I should have this. I feel that they should do this. What do you feel about yourself? What do you desire for yourself? And in order to get what you desire for yourself, you have to become who you desire to be. And do you still desire love? Do you still desire fairness or respect? Because love comes in the personal relationships that we have, whether romantic or familial. But fairness and respect should come in all relationships, whether friends, family, co-workers, colleagues, whatever the case might be. There's more than one relationship that I'm speaking of. Sometimes you might need to leave your friends. Sometimes you might need to leave the people who are associated with you because of the fact that they are associating you with things that you should not or would not like to be associated with. And if you cannot leave these relationships, maybe you don't love yourself enough to love yourself. Maybe you don't love yourself enough to love yourself. You might be accepting a lesser love because you can't give yourself a better one. You might be accepting a lesser love because you refuse to give yourself a better one. That sentence right there is why self-love is so important, because until you give yourself a better love, you can never, and I repeat, never expect someone to give you a better one. You can't work as a customer service representative and never show any managerial promise and then expect to be promoted. You can't show that, oh, I'm good at this level, I'm good at this level, but I can't accept responsibility. I shun away from accountability. So maybe you don't love yourself enough to love yourself if you cannot leave the things or the people that are not loving you correctly. And if you cannot leave a lesser love, you cannot learn a better one. If you cannot leave a lesser love, you cannot learn a better one. Let's stay with the analogy of work. We treat our relationships like jobs. We treat our relationships like jobs, especially when it's time to leave. We refuse to leave or put in a resignation until you have another one. Now, I'm not telling you to quit your job. I am not telling you to quit your job. Get another job. That's your livelihood. However, why wait until it's time for you to have another potential partner, or until you have to lie to your current one and cheat on them in order for you to leave them? That's my point. We refuse to leave a job that we are crying about, that we are complaining about, that we feel unappreciated and unseen in. And a lot of us treat our relationships the same way. They don't love you and you know it, but you refuse to leave. You're not showing up at work on time or wholeheartedly, but you refuse to leave. When you're ready to leave, you're not ready to work. When you're ready to leave, you are not ready to work. Every single person who has had a 9-to-5 has seen someone on their way out of the door not care about work. You no longer care about the job, so you no longer care about the work that you're doing. You'll show up late. You'll take longer breaks. You'll leave early when you can. And you do this. We do the same in our relationships and then wonder why they crumble, because we did not have the heart, no pun intended, to leave. We did not have the heart to leave or love ourselves the way that we should. And if we don't love ourselves the way that we should, we can't tell somebody, you're not loving us the way that I feel you should, because they see how we love ourselves first and foremost. So they're only going to give what you give yourself, or they're only going to give what you allow them to give. And if you are not loving yourself in a healthy manner, they're going to say, oh, okay, cool. They accept less, so I'm going to give them less. They accept the bare minimum, so that's what I'm going to be giving them. And on the flip side, if you're doing your job, but your co-manager, the other person in this relationship, whether it's love, whether it's family, whether it's business, whatever the case is, if your co-manager, let's say, isn't doing their job, they might not see a problem. If you're doing your job, but your co-manager isn't, they might not see a problem. The job is still getting done because you still have to do your job. The job is still getting done in their eyes. So why would they put in more work? The goals, the target for the week has still been hit. Why would they put in more work? Because they see that the less work they do, the more work you will. The job should be in love and in relationship that both managers, both parties be satisfied and accomplished. So if your partner does not want to work as hard, they're going to force you to work harder and you allow it. There will never be any reason for them to change. If your partner does not want to work as hard, they will force you to work harder. And if you accept it, there will never be any reason for them to change. They're getting the same paycheck. They have to work the same hours, but now they have to put in less effort. You have to respect yourself enough to say, no, this is the job for both of us. This is the requirement for both of us. And this is what I need you to do and who I need you to be for us to accomplish this. And the last question that I want to ask you, do you want to be satisfied and fulfilled with your work? Because that's all a relationship is. A relationship is work. And it's good work if you allow it to be. Do you want to be satisfied and fulfilled with your work? Or do you simply want a paycheck and to get your needs met? Do you want to be satisfied and fulfilled with your work? Or do you merely want a paycheck and to have your needs met? If you just want your needs met, you can't expect for anyone else to put in more effort to satisfy you. If you just want your needs met, then you cannot expect anyone else to put in more effort to satisfy you. If you never form an opinion on yourself that says, no, I need more, I need a higher wage, I need more hours, I need a better schedule, I need more work-life balance, how can you expect the person that is your employer or your co-manager to give you that? How can you expect the person that controls the relationship or the person that controls the relationship with you to want you to get more out of the relationship? They'll do just like jobs do now. Oh, we can throw a picnic. We can have a pizza party. We can do something at work. But when it comes to actually having you get more out of work, they will find every excuse and every reason not to do it. So number one, be careful of who you work with and who you work for. Whoever you are in relationship with, you should both be working for yourself to be the best you that you can be. Because when you work for yourself and you work with someone else and you both have the same vision, you can't help but to help each other. I want the best for me and I want the best for you. In order to have the best for me, I need X, Y, Z. And I see that in order for you to have the best for you, you need to do whatever you need to do. And if you need help, then let me know so that I can do that. And if I can't do that, I have to have the accountability and I have to have the self-introspection to say, I cannot do that. I cannot provide what you need to take you to a higher level or a better one. And when you admit that, it's time for you to leave. If you say you can't provide something that your partner is telling you you can, it's time for you to leave. I don't care how simple you think it might be. I don't care how ridiculous you think it might be. If they're asking for something that you feel you cannot provide, that's telling them you will not provide. And as a man, it's my job to protect and what? Provide. So if there's anything emotionally that I cannot provide in this relationship, I have to let you go. Not for me fully, but for you. And you have to have that accountability to say, sometimes I need more work on myself. Sometimes I need to love myself better. And you cannot say that you're ready to love yourself better if you're afraid to leave, if you're afraid to be alone, if you're afraid to love by yourself. You might be afraid to love yourself. If you have to have love from someone else, then maybe you're not ready to love yourself. So before I end this, I just want to let you know that it is okay to leave. It is okay to leave a job that you thought you wanted. It is okay to leave a dream that you've been working for when you realize that dream is no longer your passion and it doesn't fill your soul the way you thought it would. It is okay to leave something that your parents or your family want for you, and that's not what you want. It's okay to leave something that everybody thinks you're good at, but you hate it. It's okay to leave a relationship that is telling you I cannot or will not help your job be easier. Or on the flip side, I'm going to do what I need to do to make my job easier, which is probably going to make your job harder. I want to work with my partner, whether my partner is my future wife, whether my partner is my mother, whether my partner is my father, whether my partner is my family or my friends. I want to work with the people that I love, not against. And if you can't do that, it might be time for you to leave. Because it's going to be hard for you to love yourself if you can't leave anything else. So just know that it is okay to love yourself. God loves you. I love you. And until next time, I hope that you practice on leaving the things that are not serving you or the things that you are not serving. Until next week, you can catch me on social media at KING.SIMIEN. And that's King Simeon. This has been What's in It for Me, the station that shows you how to be the best you can be. I'll see you next week. Thank you.
I pray that this message is delivered to you. Even if it is not downloaded immediately into your spirit, I hope that you have this in the arsenal of your heart when you need it. I will be here every Friday, noon Pacific, 2 Central, 3 Eastern, to continue to give you love, information, motivation, inspiration, and everything else that I can provide. So until next time, I love you. See you later.